my name's Anita. Welcome to my channel. The original design is by a lady named Cynthia Newcomer Daniel from her book titled Modern Beaded Lace. So I'll have links in the description box below that'll apply to all of the products used in today's tutorial, and I'll also have a link to the book. If you click more below the video, you'll get all the details, including a link to my website. All right, let's get started. All right, let me go over the materials real quick with you. I'm using 6-pound fireline today, and I'm using the smoke. I'm also going to use size 12 beading needles. I like to use John James brand. These are extra long. You're going to need a pair of scissors, flat nose pliers. I use that for flattening the fireline to make it easier to thread, and I'm also going to need that for my earring hook. You're also going to need a pair of earring hooks, a couple of rubber stoppers, and for my materials I'm using 3 different seed beads here. These are all Miyuki brand. My first color, color A, is going to be in the Galvanized Gold. This is Miyuki 11-0. My color B is going to be another Miyuki 11-0, and the color is Capri Blue. And then I have 15-0s in color C that are in the exact same color as my 11-0s. So these are also Capri Blue, but these are 15-0s. All right, so let me clear my area and we'll get started. All right, I'm going to start out by showing you how to do modified right angle weave, and that is how we're going to start this particular design on this pair of earrings. Now here's a quick glimpse of what we're working on today. Looks like this. And the modified right angle weave is the base row that we're going to build off of. All right, so first of all, I'm going to use my Galvanized Gold, which is color A, and I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11-0s in gold to start. I'm going to bring that down, and I've got about 1.5 yards of fireline on my needle, and I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail, just enough to be able to weave in. So this is my tail thread. My working thread is on this side. I'm going to bring my needle back through the first bead. You're going to pull that together, and it's going to make a little diamond shape. So I'm going to reinforce by coming back through all 4 beads. So I'm going to go through one at a time, coming through the bead on the right, and just pinch it between your fingers and pull. Now I'm going to go through this bead here, pull that down. I'm going to go up the bead on this side here, and then back through the bead where I started. And that's just to reinforce. I don't want to do any knots yet because we're going to be going through these beads a few times. All right, so I'm going to turn it up, and this is how I'm going to hold this. So I've got my tail thread on the left, my working thread on the right. So now we're going to start doing modified right angle weave. So from here, I'm exiting this 11-0. I'm going to pick up color B, which is my Capri Blue. And then I'm going to pick up 3 of color A, my Galvanized Gold. Just like that. I'm exiting this bottom bead here. I'm going to come. Now, typically, your habit would be to go the direction of the thread path, which would be this way, and that's not the way we're going. We're going to go coming from top to bottom. So with the thread exiting this 11-0 to the right, I'm coming through the top to bottom on this right bead right here. And you want to make sure that when you do this, that your needle is over the thread. Very important. You don't want to have the needle behind the thread. You want it over the thread. So when you're passing through this 11-0, always make sure your needle is over the thread, like this. So we're going to pull that through. And you're going to draw that together. And now we're going to skip this blue 11-0. So what I do is I'll pull the thread and just kind of push that thread in between the blue bead and the gold bead like that. So we're going to skip the blue bead. We just came through this 11-0 right here on the right hand side. Skipping the blue bead, we're going to go through the next gold bead right there. Pull that together, and I'll do this a few more times. This is modified right angle weave. So right now we've got 2 right angles, and you count it from the top beads. So we're going to do that again. We're going to pick up the blue in the 11-0 and the gold. We're picking up 3 in color A. Same thing, we're exiting this bottom bead here. We're going to come in through the top of the right bead and make sure your needle is over the thread. Pull that through. Pull that together, and you're going to bring that thread in between the next blue bead and gold bead, and now your needle is going to go through the gold bead, skipping the blue right there. Just this one bead on the side. So you're going to pull that nice and snug. So I've got 3 right angle weaves right now, counting the beads at the top. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do that again. Pick up an 11-0 in the Capri Blue. Pick up 3 in the Galvanized Gold. Exiting this 11-0, coming down through the 11-0 on the right, making sure your needle is over the thread. Very important. If it's not over the thread and it sneaks behind, when you try to do the next stitch, it's going to look funny. So I'm going to draw that thread past the blue bead so it anchors in between like that. And now I'm going to bring my needle through the next gold bead. Pull that nice and tight. Pinch your fingers as you're pulling. And we'll do this one more time. Pick up a blue bead, 3 gold beads, exiting this bottom 11-0, coming through the top of the 11-0 on the right with your needle over the thread. Pull that through. Bring your thread, anchor it in between the next Capri Blue and Gold. Pinch and hold it, bring your needle through the gold bead to complete your right angle weave, your modified right angle weave. So there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to repeat this step until you have a total of 15 modified right angle weaves. So continue doing this pattern, and then I'll show you how to join the ends together. All right, I'm coming down to my last modified right angle weave, picking up my Capri Blue and my 3 golds, exiting this 11-0, coming down through the 11-0 on the right, bringing this together, bringing my thread over that gold, between the blue and the gold bead, going through the next gold bead. Pulling that together. And that's what you should have. Should be a total of 15 right angle, modified right angle weaves. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So that's what you should have so far. All right, now that we have our 15 modified right angle weaves, I'm going to show you how to put these into a circle. So I'm just going to hold this between my fingers like this, and I need to pick up a B and an A. So we're picking up a blue and a gold. I'm exiting this 11-0 here on this side. I'm going to go through, now this is my tail thread, I'm going to hold it out of the way. So I'm exiting here, I'm going to come up through the B that's sticking up at the other end, right there. Pull that through. And I'm just going to hold it between my fingers like this. Now we're going to pick up a gold bead, the 11-0 in gold. I'm exiting this bead here on this side. We're going to come down through the bead that's sticking out right here. And make sure your needle is going over the thread. Pull that together. And now we're going to draw this together. And I'm going to pull this thread in between the blue and the gold bead and just kind of hold that together. I'm going to bring my needle through the gold bead. Now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 in blue, and I'm going to go through the 11-0 in gold, blue, and gold right here at the base. So we're going through these 3 beads right here. Pull that through. We're going to draw that together, and notice that that completes your 16th modified right angle weave. So we have this all joined together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to advance my working thread through a few more beads. I'm going to go through the next 4 beads. So I'm exiting a gold bead. I just want to get away from where we joined. So I'm just pulling that through just to secure it, and I should be exiting a gold bead right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our tail thread and weave that in, and we're going to go the direction of the thread path, and I'm not going to do any knots, so I'm just going to thread my tail on another needle here. And we're going to weave that through. So my tail thread is exiting right here. I'm going this direction, so I'm just going to go through a few beads. I'm not going to tie any knots, so just go through however many beads, and I'm going to cut my thread, my tail thread right here. All right, so now we'll go on to the next step. So we have a little ring here, and it's going to be easier to hold this like this. So I'm going to hold it with the blue beads on the left and just let it rest on your fingertip like this. And the next step, we're going to be stacking 11-0s on top of these 2 beads here directly across from each other. So right now I'm exiting this 11-0 in gold. I'm going to pick up another 11-0 in gold, and I'm going to go into the bead directly across, going in this direction. Pull that through. And you want that bead to sit right on top. Just like that. And you'll see if you turn sideways, you'll see where that bead is situated. So we're going to do that again. Pick up another gold bead. We're exiting this bead right here. And we're going to go in through the gold on the left. So we're going to go through the gold, the blue, and the gold through these 3 beads right here. And when you pull that, it should join them together just like that, with 2 perpendicular to the 2 that we started on. So if I turn this sideways, you'll see how they're seated, just like that. We're going to do that again. pick up a gold bead. I'm exiting this 11-0 here, and I'm going to go in through the bead directly across in this direction. Pull your thread and make sure that bead sits on top, like that. Pick up another gold bead, go through the bead directly across and the next two beads. So we're going through the gold, the blue, and the gold. Pull that through, and that should seat directly across. And if it gets caught, just be mindful of that. Make sure you pull that up, and you want it to seat directly perpendicular to the other two where you started. So it should look like that. All right, I'm going to push these beads out of the way, and I'll do a couple more with you, and then I'll send you on your way. All right, so we're going to continue picking up a gold bead. I'm exiting this 11-0 here, going to the 11-0 directly across, right there. Pull that through, make sure that bead sits on top. Pick up another 11-0. We're exiting this one. We're going to go directly across and go through the 11-0 and the next two beads. So I'm going through the 11-0 in gold, the blue, and the gold. Pull that through. Make sure your thread doesn't get caught. Pull that together, and it's going to look like a little crisscross here, if you notice. And if I turn it sideways, you'll see how those beads are sitting upright, just like that. So that's what it should look like. I'll do one more with you. Pick up another 11-0, exiting this 11-0, going directly across, going in this direction. Make sure that sits on top. Pick up another 11-0 in gold, going down through the 11-0 directly across where your thread is, coming down through the gold, blue, and gold. Pull that forward so your thread doesn't get caught. Make sure those are sitting upright, just like that. If you can see that, they're kind of sitting at attention. And you're going to do those same two steps for each side. So you're picking up an 11-0, going up through this one, pulling, making sure the bead sits on top, pick up another 11-0, then you're going down through the one directly across, going through the gold, blue, and gold. And you're going to continue those two steps all the way around. All right, I'm coming to my last little area here. As you can see, I've got one little space left. I've got to pick up an 11-0 in gold. I'm exiting this last set of two right here, going directly across, pulling this through, making sure that bead sits on top. Now I'm going to pick up my second 11-0, exiting here, going directly across, going down through the 11-0 in gold, the blue, and the next 11-0 in gold. Pull that through, make sure that thread comes up and doesn't get caught, because you want that to be perpendicular to complete this. And there we have all of our beads lined up. Now they're going to start to shift, don't worry about that. So right now your thread is exiting this 11-0 in gold right here. We're going to come back through this bead right next to it, just like that. Pull that through. Now I'm going to bring my thread, my needle, through this bead where I started right here. That's facing sideways. So my thread should be exiting one of these side beads here, and I'm going to turn this like this. And what we're going to do now is we're going to tighten this circle using all of the beads that are standing up. So right now I'm exiting this 11-0 right here. I'm going to go through all the 11-0s that are sticking up. So it should be a total of 16. So I'm going to go through these next 3 as they're sticking up. Pretty obvious, you can see if you turn it sideways. Pull your needle through. Pull that tight. Go through the next 3 or 4 that you can get your needle through, and they're all sticking up. And pull. You're going to start to gather this once you get all the way around. So I'm going to go through the next 3. Pull your thread through. Start to draw that together. Go through these next 3. And I'm going to start to pull real tight. Start to pull and hold on to it as you're pulling. And notice it's going to start to draw together. So we're going to finish going through these 3 beads here to where I'm back to the beginning. Pull and hold nice and tight like that. And notice how the circle has drawn to a close. So we've gone around once. We're going to go around again through all of the beads that are sticking up in the same direction. Now this one's sideways, you're going to skip him, but we're going to go through all the beads, and it's quite obvious the beads that are sticking up. We're going to go all the way around again. And as you're going around, you're going to pull. So we're going around at least twice. And we're going to pull nice and tight. And that circle's going to get a little bit smaller. And you want to do this till you've gone around where you started at least twice. So I'm going through about 3 beads at a time. And it's going to be a challenge to get your needle through. If you can't get through 3, you can do 2 at a time. Keep pulling as you're drawing it through. Going to go through a few more beads here. Pull. And you want that circle nice and tight. I'm going to go through about 3 or 4 more beads. That should be good. Pull this nice and tight. And I think we've been around the circle twice. So from here, we're exiting a gold bead. We're going to advance our thread through some of the gold beads and just follow the thread path. We want to be exiting a blue bead on the outside. So I'm going to just come through the bead that's closest, and here's one sideways. I'm going to go through these 2 beads here. Doesn't matter which way you go, as long as you have advanced your needle to where you're exiting a blue bead. So we're going to go through this next gold and blue bead. And it might be a challenge to get through. I'm going to go this direction. Right there. Doesn't matter which way you face. Alright, so I'm exiting the blue bead here. I'm going to flip this over. And that's what you should have. That's what it should look like. Nice and tight. And I'm going to flip it over so the blue is on top. And it's got some texture to it. So that's the whole point of doing those extra 2 beads perpendicular. Alright, then we'll go on to the next step. Alright, for our next step, we're going to start adding our picot laces along the edge, which is this step here. We're going to be working on this portion going around our base, and your thread should be exiting one of the blue beads. So we're going to pick up an 11-0 in gold. Let's put some of these over here. You're going to pick up an 11-0 in gold, 3 of your 15-0s in the Capri Blue. Then you're going to pick up an 11-0 in Capri Blue and 3 more 11-0s, or I'm sorry, 3 more 15-0s in the Capri Blue and a gold. So that's what you should have 11-0 in gold, 350 nose in blue, 11-0 in blue, 350 nose in blue, and another gold. I'm exiting this bead here. I'm going to go through the opposite side of where my thread is coming out of. I'm going to go through the next blue, the next gold, and the next blue. If I can get my needle through there. It's going to be kind of tight, so try to finagle your way through. So we should be going through the blue, gold, and blue. And that's going to form a little lace decoration like this on the end. So that was our first set. Now our next set, we're going to be sharing beads. So you're going to pick up an 11-0 in gold, 350 nose in the blue, an 11-0 in blue, and 250 nose in blue. So going forward, once you have the first one done, you're not picking up another gold because you're going to be sharing this 11-0 in blue, 15-0 in blue, and the 11-0 in gold. So I'm going to pick up the gold, 3 50 nose, 1 11-0, and 2 50 nose. All right, so we've picked up our gold, our 3 50 nose, our 11-0, and our 2 50 nose, and I'm exiting this blue bead here. We're going to come down through the 15-0 and the 11-0 on the last picot we did, right there, because we're sharing beads now. You pull that, that's going to join those together. So we've gone through the 15-0 in blue and the gold, and we're going to go through this next blue, gold, and blue that's next in line, right here. So that's going to join those right next to each other. So we're going to do that again, picking up an 11-0 in gold, 3 50-0s in the blue, an 11-0 in blue, and 2 50-0s in blue. We're exiting the 11-0 in blue. We're going to come down through the 15-0, the 11-0 in gold, and then we're going to come through these next 3 beads here. So bring your needle down through the 15-0, the 11-0 in gold. Now we're going to go through, going forward, the next blue, gold, and blue in line. Right there. So we'll do that again. Pick up a gold, pick up 3 50-0s, 1 11-0, and 2 50-0s. Exiting this 11-0 in blue, we're going to come back through the last 15-0 and 11-0 right here. Now you're going to come through this blue, gold, and blue. So you're staggering as you're adding each one, and you're going to come back through the next blue in line, gold, and blue. And I'll do that one more time with you. Pick up a gold, 11-0, 3 50-0s in blue, an 11-0 in blue, and 2 50-0s in blue. Exiting the 11-0 in blue, going back through the last 15-0 and the gold bead, now you're going to go through the next blue, gold, and blue. Right there. You're going to repeat that step all the way around until you get to the next to the last blue. You're going to be leaving one of the picots out. So you're only going to do 15 of these going all the way around. So go ahead and rewind the video if you need to, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, I'm coming to my last little lace picot here. I've got my 11.0 in gold, 3 15.0s, 11.0 in blue, 2 15.0s. I'm exiting my 11.0 in blue, going back through the last 15.0 and 11.0 here on the last picot. Now I'm going to advance my needle through the next 11.0 in blue, gold, and blue. So my thread is exiting the 11.0 in blue where there is not a picot, because this is where we're going to do our little lace dangle here. So you should be exiting here, and we're going to be picking up 19 of our 15.0s in Capri Blue. So I have 19 15.0s in blue. Bring that down. Now I'm going to pick up 5 11.0s in gold. Now I'm going to pick up 7 of my 15.0s in blue. So there are my 15.0s, total of 7. I'm going to bring those down. Now I'm going to bring my needle back through these 5 11.0s in gold. Pull that together and make sure there's no slack in your thread, so just kind of pull that, hold it with your fingers and pull, and that's what that should look like right there. From here, we're exiting these 5 gold. We're going to go back through our 15.0s in blue, and we're only going to go through 18 of these. Now remember, we strung on 19. We're only going through 18. So make sure you're not skipping any. All right, so there's my last one. I'm going to take my needle back out because you only want to advance through 18 of your 15.0s. So that's what you should have. Oh, I got to go through one more. Let's see. So there should be one 15.0 that you haven't gone through that's just above the blue 11.0 bead. So I'm going to pull this together. So from here I'm going to pick up another 15.0, and I want to bring my needle through the opposite side of the 11.0 in blue, going in this direction. Right there. Pull that through. Now we're going to go back up through the 15.0 across on the other side. Right there. And then I'm going to bring my needle through the 3 15.0s to the right of this picot. So I'm going through these 3, pull my thread through. Now we're going to add 16 15.0s in blue. You're going to bring that down to your thread, and from here we're going to bring our needle back up through the 5 11.0s in gold. Now you're going to come back up around the loop, going through all of the 15.0s. Now come back down the 5 in gold. Your thread is exiting right here. You're going to pick up 16 more of your 15.0s. Bring that down. So what you're going to do at this point is you're going to go down through the 3 15-0s on this left side of this picot here. Now you're going to come down through the 15-0 to the right here. That's going to join that together at the base. Now you're going to go from right to left through the 11-0 in blue, right there. And that completes adding your stem. So from here, all you're going to do is you're going to backtrack, advancing your thread through. You can do some half-hitch knots. I'll show you how to do one, and then you'll clip your thread off. So it's going to be kind of tight, so just try to get your needle in there the best way you can. You might have to go in at an angle, like that. Just pull that through, and if you have trouble, you can use your flat nose to pull your needle through, so just be careful with that. I'm just going to go through a few more beads. And let's get this untangled here. I'm going to do a half-hitch knot right here. Just bring your needle under a thread bridge, form a small loop, bring your needle back through the loop, pull tight, then just advance through a few more beads. And at this point, you can clip your thread off. So we're going to cut our thread and go ahead and wrap up this video. So now all I have to do is add my earring hook. So you're just going to take your flat nose, open that up, and you want this so that this is facing front. So I'm just going to fasten that onto my earring hook. So that is the direction I want it to face, and then just close. Make sure there's no gaps left. And there is our pair of earrings. Let me put that on the stand here so you can see that. There they are. Aren't those beautiful? Just gorgeous. Now there's different variations that you can do here. Let me show you some of the other ones I did. Very simple. You can do multiple colors, multiple metals if you want to do gold and silver. I'll show you a pair I did like that. So let me just get these all set out here. So this is what we did today. Those are just beautiful, aren't they? Now, I did this with the gold here. This is the first pair I did, and I did it all in blue. So you can decide, well, which one do you like better? Which one, would you want to do for yourself? Very easy to do. And then I'll show you the other two I made. I did this one in a kind of a dark purple and black with gunmetal hooks and with silver for my modified right angle weave. Then I got real adventurous and I thought, ooh, let's try doing a pair in both gold and silver tones with earth tones with red and browns. So I did this one. This was a little more complicated because I had to really keep track of doing my modified right angle weave using the gold and the silver. So that was a challenge. So I've got little hints of brown here on the outer edge with red and gold and silver for people who like both gold and silver. This is a nice two-tone pair. All right, so this concludes today's tutorial. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been a lot of fun making these earrings. I'll have links in the description box below with all the products used in today's tutorial. And these are called Hypnotic Earrings, and they definitely do look very hypnotizing, don't they? I have a website where I sell my jewelry. You'll see that link, and you'll see these earrings for sale if you're interested. If you're not a subscriber, I hope you do subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you're notified when I upload new videos. And if you are a subscriber, I'm going to be having a contest. If you live in the USA, once I hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to have a drawing. And unfortunately, I can only do this for USA residents. So make sure you're a subscriber because I'll be doing a special video once I hit 1,000 subscribers with a fabulous giveaway. I want to thank all of you who are subscribers and have liked and commented on my videos, and you're sharing my link. I really do appreciate your return visits. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Happy beading, and I'll see you next time.